Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Bachiru. So in this video I want to teach you how you can deal with all your bad matchups. This is not like how to deal with move A and move B. This video is intended to teach you how you can develop your own solutions to the problems that you encounter while you're playing against like certain opponents in Guilty Gear types. So whether there is a move that frustrates you, like how to deal with, or there is a certain matchup that you're struggling against, I will teach you the tools that you need to have in your arsenal and your thought process on how to learn how to overcome this matchup. And this is what I use usually when I want to train or I want to play like in a certain competitive way. So I hope this video helps. But before we start, please consider leaving a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I've activated the memberships on that channel, so if you would like to support the Bachiru channel, you would be welcome to the gang. And for the level 2 members, I left a specific surprise for you to thank you for all the hard work and all your support. So without further ado, let's begin with the video. Alright, so first things first, you need to identify actually what are you struggling against. So for this particular video, the demonstration will be against Chip, because he's one of the characters that give Ramlethal the most hard time actually. So whatever I'm teaching in this video is actually universal and you can apply it on different characters. But for this scenario, it's Ramlethal versus one of her worst matchups, Chips. So first things first, you need to identify what you're struggling against. So if you go into training mode and you are really just going there to practice combos only, this is a very wrong thought process in my opinion. Training mode is so robust in this game, and you should definitely use all the tools to learn how to deal with bad matchups. So identify what you're struggling with. So if there's a certain move that you like giving you a lot of hard time. So for example, for Chip, maybe I struggle a lot with jump 2K, or maybe I don't know how to react to the command grab. So when I'm going to training mode, I'm going with the intention of learning how do I deal with this specific move or this specific scenario and how I'm gonna develop solutions for it. So once you identify what you're struggling against, the first thing you need to do is you record the move on its own and you try to find out solutions on how to deal with it. So let's give an example. So for here, let's say that I want to learn how to deal with jump 2K. The first thing I do actually is I record the move on its own. So I would go into button settings and I would set 2 different macros for recording and playing. This is for you guys who don't really use the record function in the game. Then you would actually go and you would record that scenario. So for example here, I will record Chip approaching and he's doing jump 2K. So it would go something like this. Alright, now that I have the move recorded, now I will start to explore what kind of solutions I can deal with the move on its own. Alright, now that you've actually like developed some solutions on your own on how to deal with that particular move, now you start to put it in multiple scenarios and you start to figure out how you can like deal with these scenarios individually. So for here we're gonna demonstrate the same scenario, however Chip will be putting it like in a mix-up scenario, and we will see how we can deal with this, because sometimes like even though you're struggling with like a certain move or a certain tactic, your opponent is gonna mix it up. So they will do it in the time that you're not really prepared for it. So the best thing you can do actually is go to the replay like theater or the replay channel in the game, pull out that match that when you were struggling with those things, and re-emulate the same situation that you're struggling with, or re-emulate the different scenarios that happen, and see what you could have done in that certain situation to deal with it. And from that scenario, you can start to say like, okay, scenario A, that's how we deal with it. Scenario B, how we deal with it. Scenario C, how I deal with it. But you first practice each one of them individually until you are confident enough that you can deal with it. So let's do another example here for Chip's jump 2K. Alright, so now that you've learned how to deal with each scenario individually, you need to combine them together. So the way that you do that actually is you record each scenario on a different recording slot. Then what you need to do is you would go to training, recording settings, then you would go to the recording slot and you would do a random. Then that will enable you actually to replay each scenario randomly. So, for example, now when I do play for that particular training, it will play like different scenarios randomly, and this is actually how you learn how to deal with them. So now that you have acquired the knowledge, the next thing that you need to do actually is you need to work on your reactions. And if you learn how to react to these different scenarios, the next time that you run into them in a match, that's the time that you can actually start to deal with them naturally. So just to summarize, you develop, like you learn how to learn like with the move of the situation individually. So you isolate it. Okay, I'm having hard time with chips, jump to K. I'm having trouble with chips, Rekka's pressure. Then, for example, I'm struggling with his command jump. So you record this and you learn how to deal with this individually. Then you put it in a scenario. For example, if I'm having hard time with the Rekkas or something like this, then I would record this and I would learn how to deal with this. The next thing I can do actually is I start to practice how this can be done in different scenarios for my opponent. This will require to do some research so you are able actually to understand when your opponent can actually do it. And then you learn how to deal with each scenario individually. Finally, you combine all the different scenarios and you just record them at random and you keep playing them until you develop the solution. This is a very straightforward training methodology in my opinion. It is easily applicable. However, you as a player, you need to actually put that time into learning this. A lot of times when you're playing in matches, your mind cannot process like the hundreds of different scenarios or decisions that you're making. So you cannot just, wave it off and say like, oh my God, I can just deal with this while I'm playing in a real match. Believe me, problem solving in matches is not really something you develop easily. Sometimes you need to hit the training mode and you need to do the boring work. This homework is what help you later on win matches. So you have to be ready to put in the work. I can make videos that help you deal like with the specific matchup or the specific scenario which I'm working on. However, before we go into each matchup individually, I want you as a player to understand how you can develop solutions on your own. Because no player or no YouTuber or whatever can teach you how to deal with every single scenario. You will encounter a scenario eventually that you haven't watched or you haven't encountered before, and it's up to you as a player to learn how to deal with this. So I really hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please consider leave a like. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. As I mentioned, support your boy. Don't forget to subscribe. Join the YouTube gang, join the Bachiru gang, and you can follow my socials in the link below. Thank you for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Yalla, peace.